Did you know there are 109 senators, 360 House of Representatives members in the National Assembly?
Nigerians did not elect the IG. We did not elect the chief of staff. But I see this as a little challenging moment that we must apply wisdom.
This time around, Mr. President, once you pass this resolution, you must personally ensure.
Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Did you know, apart from making laws for the good of our society, each of the elected members are expected to carry out constituency projects so as to drive home the dividends of democracy? Did you know that you should know what they are doing? Join your celebrity host, Abasiudu Idiom Absobaba, on a mission to find out what your representative is doing in the National Assembly. Showing on NTA Parliament, DSTV Channel 370, Go TV Channel 115, Star Times Channel 306, and Free to Air TV Channel 706. Follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at NASS Insider. Visit www.nassinsider.com.ng. Email nassinsider@gmail.com. For sponsorship details, call Rachel on 0803 600 6649 or 0813 580 4886. NASS Insider, keeping tabs on the legislature. Thank you and welcome to NASS Insider. NASS Insider brings you up to date with House of Representatives members and of course senators of the 9th National Assembly. Today on the program we have the privilege of hosting a former permanent secretary of the Plateau State government. He is today the senator representing Plateau North in the 9th National Assembly. I'm talking about none other than Senator Estevanos Dong GYANG. And I want to say in your language, Pontian. Pontian. Okay, wow, Pontian. That's nice. That is good morning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my pleasure to have you, my senator.
You.
How was life like for you growing up? How did you start? What was your sojourn in life? Take us through. Who is Senator Estevanos GYANG? We'd like to know.
Thank you for having me on this very program. And to say that I started life way back in 1963, February. I got born then in a village called Fan. And of course, went to my primary school. And I was in GSS Riom from 1976 to 81 for my secondary education. Emerged as the best all-round student.
Wow.
I headed to SBS Zaria. And of course, graduated from ABU Zaria 1986, proceeded for my service, and had a stint of being home, being unemployed, and engaging myself in on the farm.
Wow.
And then in 1990, got engaged with the Plateau State government as an admin officer, and I got working in the state civil service. And I would say that that afforded me opportunity to serve my state and the nation and to rise to the position of a permanent secretary. The privilege of serving in the state, I served closely in the State Executive Council and the State Security Council under more than 5 governors, as an admin officer in the Cabinet and Special Services, get to be a director in the same department and to be a permanent secretary in the same department. So I've been involved in the governance of Plateau State as a civil servant to the position of a permanent secretary, after which in 2014 I got called to answer the call of my people to represent Barikin Ladirium Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. That I did for 4 years. And in 2019, the people of Plateau North saw what we did and upgraded us into the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by availing me their mandate to be the senator representing the constituency. And here I am today.
The very first Plateau North football tournament. You're organizing a football tournament for the Plateau North youth, and that is ongoing. We also witnessed the flag off, the kickoff of that event. Fantastic. When you're talking about peace, unity, and reconciliation, what comes into your mind? What inspired you?
I'm one that is passionate about togetherness, passionate about inclusivity, passionate about peace, people cohabiting harmoniously. So my agenda for seeking the mandate of the people was anchored on three things. For the mandate to serve as senator was 1, to secure the people, 2, to reconcile the people, and 3, to empower the people. And securing the people of Plateau North was going to be on the platform of peace, not through violence, because violence can never be an option if we must attain and, of course, build peace. And in the process of building peace, we have to look for what we can do to engage the people. So aside from dialogue, constructive community engagement, one other platform that I identified as that will help us to bring that togetherness, to build peace, and to reconcile the people is through football. Because the game of football has proven over time to be a unifying factor, even at the national level. So I took on that, and the 73 electoral wards in the constituency, we engaged all of them. In each of these wards, a team was raised. We kitted them, and the competition started, and it is now at the group stage. So it is a platform for togetherness. It is a platform for the youths to come together. And aside from that, it is also a platform to empower our youths. How? It is to identify, to allow the youths to bring out their talents, and to fish out those talents that were hitherto unidentified, hidden, unnoticed in the grassroots. And this tournament is a platform to unearth and to bring them to the fore, so that we can begin to identify those that have these talents, and thereafter groom them and develop their capacity, so that tomorrow we would have the stars playing professional football nationally and globally. And you already know that Plateau State, particularly my constituency, Plateau North, has been the birthplace of many national and international players for the nation. And that is what this game, we want to build on that in strengthening peace in Plateau North, and of course, developing the capacity of our youth so that they can become football stars in the future. We don't just want to belong to the past, we have to belong to the future, and the way to go about it is what we are doing through this tournament.
Would you want to use this model for building peace among the multi-ethno-religious and, of course, tribal lines for both the residents and the aborigines in Plateau North? Knowing that before now, the issues of conflict in Plateau North have been a serious concern for Nigerians. But how have you been able to put all of this together in a way that we have this unity that we are relatively enjoying today?
Thank you very much. Plateau North, like you said, has had more than a fair share, if there is anything to share, in bad things, of conflict and violence. Presently, I will say that my constituency has, aside from the Northeast, the highest number of displaced persons. And this is arising from the conflict that has, over time. And to me, I would want to say that diversity in terms of ethnicity and religion, they are not fault lines. It is the management of this diversity that can create the fault lines. I've looked at it from the constitutional and the traditional dimensions. Our constitution guarantees the right of every citizen to reside in any part of the country of his choice. A Nigerian citizen can choose anywhere in the federation, to become his place of abode. And once you come into that area, you are exercising what I would want to call citizenship rights, which are well spelled out in the Constitution. And wherever you go as a citizen to make as your new place of abode, your permanent place of abode, you would find a community that preceded your arrival.
Exactly.
And that community will be your host community. And host communities would, aside from their own citizenship rights, they would have what you call customary rights. And customary rights are aboriginal in nature. That has to do with the tradition and the culture of the people. So when you have these customary rights, when you are exercising your citizenship right to come into a host community, you are expected to respect the custom and tradition of such communities. With this understanding that any citizen in exercise of your citizenship right to reside in any part of the country, you owe your host community the respect of their culture, of their tradition, and their customary rights. What are customary rights? Land ownership. What are customary rights? Traditional rulership. You cannot come to a place and then you take over the land. You want to displace the traditional institutions of the people to bring in a different setting. These are the kind of things that will lead to conflict. And with this enlightenment, not only in Plateau North, all across the nation, our citizens and our communities can cohabit peacefully, even with people that come to reside. Because you cannot progress as a people if you are not accommodating. We must accommodate other Nigerians. We must accommodate businesses. We must accommodate everyone. That's how nations grow. But in the process of accommodation, everyone that comes into a host community, you respect that host community, their right, their customary rights, their traditions, and then you live and let live. And that is my advocacy. That is what I'm advocating. And that is the peace that we are building in Plateau North. Accommodation, mutual respect, and of course, inclusivity, so that we have a Plateau North that accommodates everyone, a Plateau North where the customs and traditions of the host communities are respected, a Plateau North where every citizen is at home, and that is the Plateau North of my dream.
NASS Insider, keeping tabs on the legislature. Thank you and welcome back. In case you just joined us, we are still talking with Estebanus GYANG. He's the senator representing Plateau North. I want you to take a look at Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari's appointment of the new service chiefs. What do you think of Mr. President's decision to have the new service chiefs?
Thank you very much. Well, the decision of Mr. President to concede to the call for the change of service chiefs, a matter that has dominated national discourse for long, a matter that has been a subject of deliberations in the National Assembly and a product of many resolutions. It is all as a result of the concern that Nigerians have over the speed and the level of insecurity that the pervading insecurity across the nation. Okay. And everyone, except of course Mr. President, had thought that this decision would have come earlier than now, but like I would want to say, it's better late than never. Now that the decision has been taken, the management of security, particularly the armed forces, whose constitutional responsibility is that of safeguarding the territorial integrity of the nation. But they've had now to be deployed into the management of internal security because of the level, the scope, and the extent to which internal security has been threatened. You have the insurgency, which is of course terrorism in the northeast. You have a banditry that has become a common feature in the northwest and of course the north central states. You have killer herdsmen that have virtually ravaged the north central states. You have kidnapping that is now becoming is already very disturbing. And of course, crime and criminality that is overwhelming the security agencies of Nigeria. Okay. Now, with one thing I want to say, that the Nigerian armed forces, they have the capability. I would say they are capable, but lack capacity.
Okay. Well, what's the difference?
Now, they know what to do to tackle this insecurity, but the wherewithal in terms of equipment, in terms of the sophistication of the insurgents, in terms of the armaments that are being deployed by bandits, by insurgents, and of course by killer herdsmen. You know, what is happening is that we need to upgrade. We have to upgrade the fighting capacity, the firepower of the Nigerian military.
Let's move forward with Senator Estevanos. What are other legislative engagements you've been taking on since you've been sworn in?
Thank you very much. You know, as a legislator, our mandate has to do with lawmaking, okay, representation, and oversight. In the aspect of lawmaking, I would say right from the House of Representatives, I have been one that has sponsored many bills. And out of the many bills, I have two that the President has assented to into law. Okay. And that is that on the national fertilizer. That has to do with the agri sector of the nation. I'm glad that the President Buhari assented to that bill into law. The second one is that of an establishment bill for the College of Lab Science Technology in Jos. That too has been assented to into law by Mr. President. Presently, I have over 12 bills in the Senate. In the House of Reps, I had over 20. And we are on in the process of passage of these bills. The process is on. In the aspect of representation, I would say that I've been a voice for the people of Plateau North to be actively involved in the governance and government of Nigeria.
NASS Insider, keeping tabs on the legislature.
Looking at the electoral reforms, and of course, what do we expect from your committee? You're a member of that committee.
Just some areas of interest to Nigerians is that this bill is giving the card reader evidential value before the court of law. Okay. And of course, permitting the usage of other electronic devices by INEC. Okay. That will also involve the electronic transfer of results. And of course, the lacuna that had to do with a situation where a presidential or gubernatorial candidate dies in the process of election. That too, we've made provision that will take care of such eventuality, though not praying for it. But in view of what happened in Kogi State, we have addressed that issue to ensure that such a lacuna is provided for. And of course, we have taken elaborate steps to ensure that we strengthen internal party democracy.
Exactly.
Particularly as it relates to nomination of candidates. We've witnessed what is popularly called the tyranny of political parties.
Okay.
And in a democracy, there should be no room for tyranny. And that is why the committee has taken elaborate steps to ensure that we curb the excesses of political parties to democratize the process of emergence of candidates. And of course, another novel thing is the ensuring that persons living with disabilities are adequately provided for by INEC in the process of exercising their franchise, to ensure that no citizen is denied from exercising his franchise by reason of the fact that he is someone that is living with disability. So that is something that is novel, and it is not discretionary. We have made it mandatory for INEC to so provide to enable all persons living with disabilities and other vulnerable citizens to ensure that they exercise their franchise. And of course, there are other provisions that were being manipulated, like the issue of logo exclusion.
Okay.
We have taken steps to address that issue in such a way that we would not allow either INEC officials or scrupulous politicians to surreptitiously work to ensure that their party logo is submitted as a basis for some pecuniary, grounds to make money, and that too we have tackled that effectively to ensure that we do not avail or allow room for criminals to thrive by reason of our electoral act. So by and large, I want to assure Nigerians that we are hoping that the president will assent at the end of the day. Soon, on resumption, we would be bringing the bill to the floor of the House for consideration, and thereafter to be forwarded to the president for assent. And this time around, all things being equal, we are hoping that Nigerians would have an electoral act that will guarantee free, fair, and credible election.
Okay, let's go to your state, Plateau State. Let's take a nip at governance in Plateau State. In 2015, we had a change of baton from the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, which you were a member, which you are. Of course, you were a member of that government. But what do you make of governance in the Plateau State at the moment?
Thank you very much. Plateau State is a state that has a history of very outstanding leaders. Okay. The likes of J.D. Gomok, though under a military dispensation.
Okay.
But he proved himself very well. The likes of the emancipator, our father who has gone to be with the Lord, Baba Solomon Del Sheblar. And of course, the infrastructure guru, the developmental governor, distinguished Senator Jonah David GYANG, my father. These are leaders that have proven that Plateau State can produce the very best for this country. The legacies of the PDP government in Plateau State, which were inherited in 2015, are monumental. They are all over the place. The infrastructure, the human capital development, policies that moved agriculture from an archaic state to modern agricultural practices. Okay. There is no sector that you would talk of that was not visited by the government of the PDP under Governor Jonah GYANG. Today, if you come to Jos City, and of course the local government headquarters, they were virtually transformed with modernity in terms of infrastructure, the upgrade of infrastructure. And I want to say with every sense of humility that since the PDP government left, we have not witnessed such remarkable performance to match the records that have been set from the past. Like I'm telling you, we have records that are speaking for J.D. Gomwok, records that are legacies that are speaking for Baba Sheblar, and of course the undeniable, visible, tangible legacies of Senator GYANG are all over the place. Because of my concern for Plateau, whoever is governor of Plateau, to me, the issue is how we can move Plateau State forward. I engaged the present governor. He's of APC. I'm PDP. But Plateau State is for all of us. I engaged him and gave him, my candid advice on the things that he needs to do to improve, and of course for his rating to show up. But up till now, he has not done one or two of the things that I discussed with him. My interest is his success, because his success is for our good. The success of his administration is for the good of Plateau. That's why I took time to engage him on bipartisan basis for the interest of Plateau. But I want to, with every sense of humility and one being frank, that the opportunity he has, to have gone and taken the bar higher, he's nowhere near the bar. He's nowhere near the bar. So I am just hoping that the short time that he has between now and 2023, that he can improve from below average to average performance. So that's my goodwill for him, my desire for him.
Thank you so much, Senator GYANG. You are a very philosophical person and one who believes in God. We'd like to know a little about your family. Are you married? How many dozens of children do you have? And what's your philosophy of life? What makes you happy? How do you relax, Sheda? How do you mix being on the floor, being a senator, and a family man? You'd like to share that with us?
Thank you very much. I am married to my wife, of course, one wife, Rahila, and God has blessed us with 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys. 2 of my daughters are married.
Okay.
I'm a grandfather. The first has 2 children. The second has 2 children. She just gave birth to the second.
Congratulations.
I have 2 sons. The one, he has finished his master's degree. Wow. He's now working in the federal government. Wow. The second one is in university, and our 3rd girl is in secondary school. Wow. As for the issues of how one relaxes, I love reading books. Wow. And I love listening to soft music, particularly inspirationals. Okay. And that is how I do. I relax and engage with friends, okay. With my constituents. Engaging with my constituents is also one of my delight. And that is it.
And that's how we call it a wrap on this episode of the program. Estefanos Dong GYANG is senator representing Plateau North people in the 9th Senate. We will come to you with another guest next time. Thank you and God bless you.
NASS Insider, keeping tabs on the legislature.